Welcome! Today we're going to talk about peace, but maybe not the kind of peace you're thinking of. This isn't about escaping the noise of life. No, this is about something else entirely. It's about actively preparing for something new, right in the middle of our own personal wilderness.
So let's kick things off with a question that I bet hits home for a lot of us, especially during those crazy hectic seasons. We all say we want peace, right? But what does that really mean when life is just loud and demanding? Is it simply the absence of problems? I'm not so sure.
And this is where things get really interesting. Check out this distinction. On one side, you have what we usually think of as peace. The absence of noise, an escape from life, basically just passively waiting for things to calm down. But then, look at the other side. This is a totally different ballgame. This isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about finding purpose inside the storm by actively preparing a way right through it.
And this whole idea, it's not new. It's anchored in this really powerful call to action from the prophet Isaiah, and then, centuries later, it's echoed by John the Baptist. And get this, notice the setting. The wilderness, the desert. This is a call to do something, to build something, right in the place where things are the most difficult.
Okay, so let's dive into our first story, which really brings this idea to life. We're talking about building a road right through the wilderness.
So, I want you to picture this. A small, isolated town, kind of tucked away in the mountains. For years and years, their only connection to the rest of the world was this one, single, treacherous road that was literally carved into the side of the mountain. And travel on this road, it was an absolute nightmare. It was filled with these crazy sharp switchbacks, steep drop-offs, you get the picture. Accidents happened all the time, especially in the winter when things got icy. Honestly, it was a source of constant stress and anxiety for the entire town. So what did they do? The town decided to approve this huge, expensive, and really messy project. Workers came in with all this heavy machinery, they were blasting through solid rock, filling in these deep gullies, and literally moving parts of the mountainside. It was loud, it was dirty, it was really, really hard work.
But after all that chaos and all that work, the result was just transformational. They had a new road, a straight, safe highway. And all of a sudden, people could travel with confidence, with a real sense of peace, because they knew the way was finally clear.
Okay, so here's the big takeaway, right? That road, it's a metaphor for our inner lives. The idea is that we're being asked to do that exact same kind of messy, difficult work inside of ourselves. To blast through those old habits, to fill in those emotional gullies, and to straighten out the twisted ways of thinking that block us from finding any real hope or peace.
All right, let's move on to our second story. This one's about what happens when the path forward feels really dark. It's about finding notes in the darkness.
So this story is about a family, and they're facing their very first Christmas after losing their beloved grandmother. And she was the one, the one who always led all the holiday traditions. So the grief was just incredibly heavy as they started to open up that familiar old box of decorations.
But as they're unpacking these ornaments, they find something just incredible. Their grandmother had left these little handwritten notes taped to some of them. Little things, small, gentle instructions, guiding them even though she was gone. It was like her voice was still right there with them, helping them navigate all that sadness. And isn't that just a beautiful parallel? The idea is that Scripture can work in the exact same way. It's like finding God's own handwritten notes left just for us, offering encouragement and direction, especially in those moments when we feel completely lost in the dark.
Now, this is so important to understand. This kind of peace, it's not some magic wand that just makes the pain disappear. Not at all. It's more like a companion, something that meets us right in the middle of our grief and offers a steady hand to help guide us through to the other side.
Okay, on to our final story. And this one is all about the profound power of a very simple act. It's about sweeping the path clear. So it starts with a simple observation. A pastor notices this one man, and every single Saturday morning, without fail, he's outside the church with a broom, just quietly and methodically sweeping the sidewalk clean. It wasn't some big, dramatic gesture. It was just this quiet, consistent act of service. So one day, the pastor finally goes up and asks him, "Why do you do this every week?" And the man's answer was just stunning. So simple, but so full of purpose. He said, "If I can help one person get closer to Jesus without tripping, then that's my ministry."
Wow.
And that right there, that just brilliantly sums up the heart of this whole idea, doesn't it? Preparing the way isn't always about blasting through mountains. Sometimes it's just about spiritual sidewalk sweeping, quietly clearing the path in our own hearts, and for others, just making it a tiny bit easier for peace to find its way in.
So, okay, what does all this mean for us, right here, right now? Well, here's the invitation. It really all boils down to these 4 things. First, it's an invitation to prepare our own hearts, to clear out some of that clutter and anxiety. Second, to make space for a different kind of peace, remembering it's about God's presence, not the absence of problems. Third, we're invited to become peacemakers ourselves, to be like the man with the broom and help clear the way for other people. And finally, the 4th invitation is just to trust that all this preparation, all this work actually matters, and that God's glory will be revealed, even when we feel like we're stuck in the wilderness.
So let's leave it with this thought. This isn't about transforming the entire mountain overnight. The invitation is so much simpler than that. Just think about your own life, your own wilderness, whatever it is you're facing right now. What's one small piece of rock you can clear away? One small stretch of sidewalk you can sweep? What's one small way you can prepare the way for peace just this week?